You know, I was doing my thing on Twitter looking at Sonic stuff when someone posted a clip of IGN making fun of Sonic vocal songs. Someone else quote retweeted that tweet, talking about how Sonic games started straying away from vocal themes, probably as a response to the bad faith criticism. Fidel the Games Cage then quote retweeted that with one of the Sonic Frontiers songs. I replied to that tweet expressing how one thing I didn't like about Frontiers was that the music didn't really feel connected to the story, but that maybe there was a link between Sonic Frontiers' music and the feelings that Sonic Team were going through while developing the game. But then someone called me for it, so I'm gonna make a whole ass video about it. So with the Sonic Frontiers Titan theme specifically, I don't feel like a lot of the lines connect with the story in any way. For example, in Undefeatable, it says, "Running from the past is a losing game, it never brings you glory." But how does this relate to the story? There are elements about the past in Frontiers, but no one is running from the past. The only way I could interpret these lines is that it's just a general fact about Sonic. He's just a character that knows not to run from the past. But then when you think about it from a Sonic Team perspective, what have they been doing the entire time? They've been, in a way, running from the past. Obviously not 100%, they've been embracing certain elements of the past, but there are other elements that they've been ignoring. For example, for the longest time, the only human in the Sonic world was Eggman. They've been ignoring Sonic's history with humans for a decade, for over a decade. Sonic has been running from the past, and in Sonic Frontiers, they embrace every bit of Sonic's past, especially by expanding the lore of the Chao and Chaos from Sonic Adventure. And as everyone knows, Sonic Frontiers is littered with callbacks. This was Sega realizing that running from the past is a losing game. They realized it wasn't bringing them glory, so they tried to correct that. But yeah, let's get into the full analysis, shall we? These songs pretty much work in order, so let's start with Undefeatable. First line, "I'm hanging on to the other side." Another example of the song not really matching the story. Sonic isn't in that much of a dire situation. I mean, he has all the Chaos Emeralds, he's been in tougher spots. But Sonic Team, on the other hand, they just came off of Sonic Forces, a critical and financial failure. Sonic Team are hanging on to the other side, but they won't give up till the end of them. And now they're in a mind of a different kind. They're creating the open zone format, a concept they've been developing for 5 years, a new format for Sonic that they've been growing slowly. Think I'm on 11 but I'm on a 9 is a reference to 9/11. With this new game, Sonic Team will make waves around the world, just like 9/11 did. Of course, we know why they're running from the past, and they've realized it's a losing game. It's time to embrace Sonic's rich world once again. They've been down that road before. They already know the story. But thanks to a lot of bad faith criticism, Sega has been scared to take Sonic back into that direction. It's time for Sega to face their fears and bring Sonic back to his glory days. Because no matter what reviewers have said, they've come and gone. But Sonic the Hedgehog, he's the one that's been carrying on. No matter what these critics throw at him, he's still undefeatable. The franchise is still alive, and Sonic Frontiers is a result of enough time passing. The stars have finally collided for Sonic's comeback. The critics are simply just enemies, obstacles that get in the way, because no matter how many times they've listened to the critics, it moved the franchise nowhere. In other words, they crossed the line. And all it did was waste time. It's a sign that Sonic should take back what's his, and ignore what random people have to say. They understand now that when a Sonic story ends, it becomes a part of the world. They're done with writing stories that are inconsequential to the bigger picture. Sonic Team will give it what it takes to find another way to bring back a rich storytelling to the series. Before, Sonic Team had no idea what to do with the series because of the messy criticism, but now it's crystal clear to them that it can be found within a ghost, an aspect of the franchise that died off long ago. So Undefeatable is actually a song about Sonic Team coming to the realization of what they need to do to actually make the Sonic brand big again. Alright, let's move on to Break Through It All. Don't look down. Sonic Team are rising up from their lowest point. They know what to do, they've been developing it. They are now higher than when they were back when Sonic Forces was released. They've been waiting so long for the Sonic brand to kick back into motion again. Their last truly important game was really Sonic 06. After Sonic 06, everything has been disconnected. There's been no consistent canon, and they've been waiting a long time to bring it back. For the longest time, they've been listening to all this bad faith criticism. But now they've realized that they just lose battles that they don't fight for. They should fight for what they believe in, for the art they create. They feel like Sonic should take a more serious and impactful direction. They can't hide that anymore. They're not going to compromise for critics. If they keep doing that, they will die. The brand will die out. Again, the critics have crossed the line with their criticism. And thanks to them repressing Sonic Team for so many years, the beast is now awakening. They're telling themselves to break through it all, to keep fighting for what they believe in. And they won't die out, because the fire in them will never die if they keep doing what they believe in. If they keep pushing for a greater, bigger Sonic the Hedgehog, they will start making history again. Sonic was originally created to overtake Nintendo, the gaming industry's biggest developer, and in recent years they've lost sight of that. But now they're back, overdriving all the competition, taking small steps. Every bit of damage they do to competitors counts. They're counting up the damage when it's done. They can't listen to the critics anymore, and they don't care if they don't like the games. Because when they make something truly good, the world will decide if it's good, not freaking Brian from IGN. If people keep continuing the bad faith criticism, it will come back and bite them. And we have been seeing that recently thanks to Chow Mix's video on Sonic in the 2010s. But Sonic Team also knows they can't just blindly follow what they believe in. They can be wrong, and sometimes they have to come down back to earth. They have to level with everyone, which is why Sonic Frontiers has had a lot of playtesting compared to other Sonic games. If they stay up high like they are right now, then they'll get lost in the wind. They'll do whatever it takes to make sure this new game is good. And if they don't reach the crown, if the world considers the game bad, then they'll have to take the whole thing down. They'll have to start from scratch again. And yeah, that's Breakthrough It All for you. Next we'll move on to Find Your Flame, where Sonic Team claims that they will not back down. They've done a lot of playtesting, they've been refining the game, they're a lot more confident now. They're ready to go beyond their limits. And everyone, the world will be the judge of that by looking them straight in the eye and playing the game. This is their time to strike. So they're challenging everyone to play the game. Once again, they say that if you have any bad faith criticism, you're gonna regret it. Sonic Team will come out on top. They will beat the allegations. Their games are only for people who can actually handle it. Which I mean is pretty historically accurate, yeah. And no matter what the result of Sonic Frontiers releases, everybody better accept it. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. And in the case of the latter, Sonic Team won't stop. They won't hide from the criticisms. If people really do have genuine problems with a new game, they will try to improve it, instead of tossing it away like they've done so many times in the past. They're not going to let the criticism prevail. They're going to prove that they can make a good game. Even if it's not Frontiers, they will make it eventually. They're now dancing with destiny. They've been in a position of success before. They're not going to stop believing that they'll find their flame to bring Sonic back to his former glory. In fact, they're so dedicated, they're overworking. They're seeing double vision, they're getting tired. They have to take a seat. But they're still on a mission. Before they were at their lowest point, so they have nothing else to lose. They have everything to gain. No pain, no gain, they're just gonna keep on working, because they can feel something truly special igniting. They have a dream and they'll continue chasing it. And when they get there, when they finish making Frontiers, they're gonna start the invasion. AKA, they're gonna start shipping copies around the world. Sonic Team is blinded by success. This isn't the best version of them. They're committed to this one goal and they don't care what it takes to get there. They're closing in on the end of development. In the end, it's you and your friends. It's Sonic Team and Sonic fans. They should be taking the criticism from the fans, not from randos who don't know what Sonic is. The world is calling Sonic's name. It's time to show off what Sonic can really do. That's Find Your Flame, guys, and we will now finish it off with I'm Here. It starts with a simple command, follow me. Sonic Team is now confident in themselves. They are now leading the charge. They're standing on the border of everything. This is a make or break moment. They were just hanging on to the other side thanks to Sonic forces, but after developing Frontiers, they're now at the border, standing on solid ground. You can listen close as the spirits sing lost messages of long ago. The world that Sonic had built up until the mid-2000s is coming back. They're leaving what they knew before, the meta era where nothing really mattered. And a new world is now emerging, a new era of Sonic that they'll keep fighting for. They found the truth of what Sonic should be, and now they're walking on that new path. They are here. They can reach these new frontiers. They're fighting the fear of being rejected once again, and holding on to the elements that everyone loves or should have loved about Sonic. No matter how coldly everyone treats them, they'll walk through it, they'll get through it, together. Sonic Team is inviting everyone to come on this journey with them, to build this new era of Sonic the Hedgehog, and to learn from the games that came before. The secret to success is from the old Sonic games, to expand upon them. Sonic Team will explore new ways to expand the franchise and to breathe new life into it. This is a fresh start. They're going to really listen to the fans, so the fans shouldn't be afraid, because Sonic Team will be with them. The path forward for Sonic Team is now as clear as ever, and they'll continue reaching towards new heights. always to new horizons. And that pretty much sums up my analysis. I don't need to analyze One Way Dream, it's pretty obvious what it means. Sonic Frontiers was the first step to fix the franchise, truly fix it. And if you've seen my Sonic Frontiers reviews, you would know that I actually do think Sonic Frontiers is mid. I don't think it's good at all. But I will always treasure what Sonic Frontiers means to the franchise. Like, it's actually kind of crazy to think, but every game that's released after Frontiers has been a good game. We haven't seen that type of consistency in Sonic for a long time. Hell, I don't even think that type of consistency existed at all. The murder of Sonic the Hedgehog was a really fun side project, and it was nice seeing Sonic try a different genre once again. Superstars was a solid game. Sure, it was a little unpolished and the boss fights took a little bit too long, but it was a good effort. I wouldn't call it a bad game, I wouldn't even call it mid. But it was actually nice to see that they could remake the classic Sonic physics without the Mania team being there. And Sonic Dream Team was a really fantastic mobile game. Like, it's so good it's worthy of a console release. And now we have Sonic X Shadow Generations coming up, and that game looks amazing. It looks to be the most cinematic Sonic game to date, with the animation looking amazing in both the gameplay and the cutscenes. The amount of squash and stretch in that game is incredible. Like, Sonic Team is doing this? What? I mean, I guess Shadow the Hedgehog is just the god of squash and stretch because Shadow the Hedgehog 05 also had a lot of it. Ever since Sonic Frontiers, the Sonic brand has just been going up. I can't even believe we have a whole Sonic the Hedgehog Lego line now. That was something I wished so hard for as a kid. I started keeping up with the Sonic franchise and interacting with the fanbase around 2014. It's safe to say that my experience with Sonic the Hedgehog has been low. Like, nothing's been good except for Mania. But you know, Mania is just an officially backed fan project, so it doesn't even count. There are for sure a lot of problems I have with the Sonic franchise right now, but at the same time, this is the highest I've experienced the franchise at. I live in Australia, and when I was growing up, there was pretty much zero Sonic merchandise you could find in the store. You couldn't find any Sonic toys, any Sonic clothing. I was starved for Sonic merch. The only time I could remember there was an actual abundance of Sonic stuff was during, like, around the 20th anniversary at EB Games. Nowadays, I can walk into any store and find Sonic merchandise. It's a sign that Sonic Team are now finally confident with the brand. Now they can sell merch outside of America and the UK, guys. That's so awesome. Again, I don't think Sonic Frontiers is a good game, but that's where it all started. That's where Sonic started being successful again. It's the best-selling Sonic game in Japan, and it might as well be the best-selling 3D Sonic game right now. It's honestly a miracle that Sonic the Hedgehog is still alive to this day. The franchise is truly undefeatable somehow. For the first time in my life, I can confidently say that I'm excited for the future of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I hope my 7,000 subs who don't watch my videos are too.